Good morning, Mom. Good morning, classmate. Today, I will discuss about assessment tools to measure authentic learning performance and products, or the KPUP. Learning outcomes in KPUP can be assessed through performance or product. So now, let us discuss about different performance assessment tools. Number one is the checklist. Checklist. It is a tool that consists of a list of qualities that are expected to be observed as present or absent. This is an example of a checklist. And it is about a checklist on the use of microscope. Instruction. Observe the student in a laboratory activity with the use of microscope. Check the items which you have seen, which were done appropriately, and mark X or cross items which were not appropriately done. Number 1. Wipes the slide with a lens paper. Number 2. Adds a few drops of water. 3. Turns to low power lens. 4. Adjust mirror. 5. Record results. And this is an additional information that is not written on the book. These are the advantage and disadvantage of checklist. Let us start with the advantage. These are advantages of the checklist. Number 1 advantage is the checklist. Checklist is easy to use. Because they require little instruction or training, teachers can quickly learn to use them. Another advantage is checklist is flexible. The teacher can evaluate in the most convenient manner and obtain the needed information so that checklist is become flexible. Next is behaviors can be recorded frequently. Checklists are always at hand. Whenever the teacher has new information, he or she can update records. And that is for the advantages of the checklist. And now let us proceed about the disadvantages. Here are the disadvantages of the checklist. Checklist is time-consuming, particularly when teachers are just beginning to use checklists. They report that keeping records current on checklists reduces the time spent to children. And the next is some teachers may not consider assessment strategies. When they are accustomed to teaching with the children, teachers often find difficult to adapt their teaching time or teaching skills. Next is teachers may find it difficult to start. Unlike paper and pencil tests, they can be used to record levels of mastery. Checklists indicate only whether the child can perform adequately. Another performance assessment tool is the rating scale. It is a tool that uses a scale in a number line as a basis to estimate the numerical value of performance or product. There are two types of rating scales. One of the types of rating scale is the numerical rating scales. It is the easiest rating scale to use. The rater marks a number to indicate the degree to which a characteristic is present. Next is the graphic rating scales. It is functions as continuums. A set of categories is described at certain points along the line, but the writer can mark his or her judgment at any location on the line. The rater, rather. Okay. The last performance assessment tool is the rubrics. Rubrics. It is a printed set of guidelines that distinguishes performances or products of different quality. Rubrics also have disadvantages and advantages. Rubrics is adaptable. Rubrics can be used by both teacher and student. It can be translated into grades if needed because in rubrics there are scores so that those scores can be translated into grades or percentage. And these are the disadvantages of the rubrics. Rubrics may lack validity and reliability. Its design and use are not without difficulty. So now, let us proceed to the levels of assessment for the levels of learning outcomes. The levels of assessment is also the description of the level of the learning outcomes, which are the knowledge, and skills. Understanding. And the last one, is the products or performance. And this is the last learning outcomes, because first, we have to think, or that is the knowledge, and two, we have to process, or we have to learn skills. And the third one is to understand, or understanding. Those knowledge and information or skills, we have to understand that all. So, the last one is the products or the performance. After the understanding, there will be a product or the performance, and that is the final learning outcomes. The levels which are outcomes are also learning the levels of assessment to describe the DepEd Order 73 series of 2012. Through levels of learning outcomes are also the levels of assessment. In other words, the levels of assessment follow also the level of thinking. Skills from lower level to higher level. And that's all for my report. Thank you.